Hello, English learners, and welcome to today's episode of our English Learning Podcast. I'm Adam, and I'm thrilled to have you here with us. If you're new to our podcast, we are here to help you improve your English with simple, practical lessons that you can use in real-life situations. And if you've been with us for a while, welcome back. We are so happy to have you in this learning journey with us. Today's topic is something that affects all of us: self-confidence in 2025. Achieve success, and overcome self-doubt. We all want to feel confident, right? We want to speak English fluently, perform well at work, and feel good about ourselves. But sometimes it's not that easy. Have you ever looked around and thought, wow, everyone is doing better than me? Maybe you've seen someone on social media with a perfect life, or so it seems, and you thought, why can't I be like that? If you've ever felt that way, you are not alone. We are going to talk about that today. And to help us understand this better, we have a special guest, Sophia. She's a confidence coach who has helped many people overcome self-doubt and build self-confidence. Welcome, Sophia.
Thank you so much, Adam. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. And Adam, you're absolutely right. Confidence is something we all struggle with, especially now in 2025. Things are changing so fast. We are constantly connected to social media. We see everyone's perfect life. We compare ourselves to others. We think, they are better than me. They are smarter. They are more successful. But what we don't see is their struggles, their bad days, their self-doubt. The truth is, we all struggle with confidence, no matter how successful we look on the outside.
That's such an important point, Sophia. So, you're saying that in 2025, self-confidence is a bigger challenge because of social media?
Exactly. Social media is everywhere. We open our phones, and within seconds we see someone traveling to a beautiful island, someone buying a new car, someone getting a big promotion. And we think, I'm not good enough. It's called comparison, and it can destroy your confidence. Another problem in 2025 is AI-driven insecurities. AI technology is growing fast, and many people feel like they can't keep up. We see AI tools doing things faster than us, better than us, and we start to think, am I still valuable? What if I lose my job?
Wow, that's so true. I've heard a lot of people say they're afraid of losing their jobs because of AI. So we have social media pressure, comparison, job competition, and AI insecurities. All these things are making people feel less confident. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. People are constantly under pressure to be perfect, to be successful, to look good, to keep up with technology. And when they feel like they can't do it all, they start to doubt themselves. This is called self-doubt, when you question your abilities and think you're not good enough.
That's such a powerful term, self-doubt. So, for our English learners listening, we've already introduced a few important words. Pressure, when you feel stressed because you have to do something difficult. Self-doubt, when you don't believe in yourself. Comparison, when you look at others and think they are better than you. Insecurities, when you feel uncertain or not good enough. That's such a comforting thought. So, listeners, take a deep breath. It's okay to feel this way. You're not the only one. We're going to help you understand self-confidence better and give you the tools to overcome self-doubt. All right. So, we've talked about how confidence is a big struggle in 2025. Social media pressure, AI insecurities, job competition. It's everywhere. But let's pause for a second. Before we talk about how to build confidence, we need to understand what confidence actually is. Because let's be honest, Sophia, when we hear the word confidence, most people imagine someone who is perfect. Someone who walks into a room, everyone turns to look. They speak so smoothly, they never get nervous. They always know what to say. Is that what real confidence looks like?
Oh, Adam. I love that you brought this up because that's the biggest myth about confidence. A lot of people think confidence means being perfect, never making mistakes, always being the best in the room. But that's not real confidence. That's just a performance, a mask. Real confidence is something very different. Real confidence is when you trust yourself, even when you're not perfect. It's when you know, I might make mistakes, but I can handle it. It's when you say, I don't know everything, but I believe in my ability to figure things out. It's trusting yourself, even when things are uncertain.
I love that. Trusting yourself. Because, Sophia, I think a lot of us wait until we feel perfect before we do something. We think, I'll speak up in that meeting when I'm 100% sure I won't make any mistakes. Or, I'll talk to new people when I feel confident in my English. But that moment, it never comes, right?
Exactly. That moment never comes. Because here's the truth. Confidence is built, not born. You are not born confident, you build it. And you build it by doing things before you feel ready. You build it by trying, failing, learning, and trying again. Think of confidence like a muscle. You don't wake up one day with strong muscles. You go to the gym, you lift weights, it's hard, you feel sore. But slowly you get stronger. Confidence works the same way. You try something hard. Maybe you speak English with someone and it's not perfect, but you survive. Next time, it's a little easier. And over time, you get stronger. You start believing in your abilities because you've seen yourself handle challenges.
That's such a powerful image. Confidence as a muscle. Because when I think back to times I felt confident, it was never because everything was perfect. It was when I did something difficult, and I proved to myself, hey, I can handle this. Like, I remember the first time I hosted this podcast. I was so nervous. My voice was shaking. I thought people would think, who is this guy? He doesn't know what he's doing. But I did it. And after the episode, I thought, okay, that wasn't perfect. But I survived. I can do this again. And now, every episode, I feel a little more confident because I've built that trust in myself.
Exactly. And I bet every listener here has a moment like that. Maybe it was your first day at a new job. You didn't know everything, but you showed up, you learned, you handled it. Or maybe you had a conversation in English with a stranger. You made mistakes, but guess what? You survived. That's real confidence. It's not about being perfect. It's about being okay with not being perfect.
I love that. And I want our listeners to think about this right now. Think about a time when you felt confident. Maybe it was small, like answering a question in English class. Or maybe it was big, like getting through a difficult situation in life. What made you feel confident in that moment? Was it because you were perfect? Or was it because you handled it, even though it was hard?
That's such a powerful question, Adam. Because I think when people reflect on their own experiences, they realize confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from trusting yourself to handle anything. And that's the message I want everyone to remember today. Confidence is a skill you build through action. You don't wait for it. You create it by showing up, trying and learning along the way.
Wow, I feel inspired already. So, listeners, if you've ever thought, I'll feel confident when I'm perfect, stop. Confidence is not about perfection. It's about trusting yourself, believing in your abilities, and knowing you are a work in progress. And that's okay. We'll talk more about how to start building that confidence muscle in the next chapter. But before we move on, take a second. Think about your confidence moment. What made you feel that way? And just remember, you already have confidence inside you. We're just going to help you grow it. Let's keep going. All right, Sophia. We've talked about what real self-confidence is. It's not about being perfect. It's about trusting yourself, even when things aren't perfect. But now, we need to talk about one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to confidence. And honestly, Sophia, I think most of us are guilty of this mistake. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I feel confident. I'll speak English when I'm ready. I'll apply for that job when I feel sure I won't fail. But that day never comes. So, Sophia, tell us, what's the biggest mistake people make when it comes to confidence?
Oh, Adam, you said it perfectly. The biggest mistake is waiting. waiting to feel confident before taking action. But here's the truth. Everyone listening, confidence doesn't come first. Action comes first. Confidence comes after. Let me say that again because it's so important. Confidence is the result of action, not the requirement for it. I see this all the time with my clients. People say to me, "Sophia, I want to feel confident before I speak up in meetings." Or, "I want to feel confident before I practice my English with others." And I always tell them, you will never feel confident first. Confidence is like a reward you get after you take the first step.
That's so powerful. Confidence is the reward you get after action. But I know some people listening might be thinking, "But Sophia, I'm scared. What if I fail? What if I make mistakes?"
And that's a normal feeling. Let me tell you a quick story. Years ago, when I started my career, I was terrified of public speaking. I thought, I'll speak on stage when I feel confident. But you know what happened? Years went by, and I never felt ready. Finally, I had an opportunity to speak at a small event. I was still scared. My heart was racing. My hands were shaking. But I thought, okay, I'll just try. And you know what? I didn't die. I survived. And after that, I thought, that wasn't so bad. And the next time, it was a little easier. And the time after that, easier still. And slowly, I built confidence. The action came first. The confidence came later.
I love that story because I think we can all relate. Listeners, think about this. Have you ever waited to feel confident before trying something? Maybe you wanted to speak English with a friend, but you waited because you didn't feel ready. What happened? Did you ever feel ready, or did you just stay stuck?
Exactly. And let me be clear, you don't need to take a huge step. It can be small. Taking the first step is the key. Say hello to someone in English. Ask one question at work. Order coffee in English. Each small action builds your confidence muscle.
That's such a great point. Take the first step, even if it's small. I remember when I first started learning a new language, I kept thinking, I'll practice when I'm good. But I wasn't getting better because I wasn't practicing. Finally, I just said a few sentences to a native speaker. I was nervous. It wasn't perfect. But the person smiled. They understood me. And that little moment, it gave me a boost. It made me think, I can do this.
Yes, Adam, that's how it works. Each time you step out of your comfort zone, you grow and you realize you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start.
So, listeners, here's what we want you to remember. Confidence comes from action, not before it. Don't wait. Take the first step, even if it's small, even if you feel scared. Because each time you try, each time you step out, you're moving forward. You're making progress over perfection.
Yes. So, here's a question for you, listening right now. Have you ever waited to feel confident before trying something? What happened? Did you wait forever? Or did you finally act and realize it wasn't as scary as you thought? We'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments or just reflect on it for yourself. Because today can be the day you stop waiting and start acting.
That's such a powerful message. So, listeners, take a breath. Think about one small action you can take today. Maybe it's saying hello to someone in English. Maybe it's asking a question at work. What's your first step? Because that first step, that's where confidence begins. Let's keep moving forward together, on to the next chapter. Now, this next part is critical because even though we've been talking about building confidence and taking action, there's something that stops many of us. It's silent, it's sneaky, and it's powerful. And if we don't deal with it, it can keep us stuck for years. I'm talking about self-doubt. We've all felt it. That little voice inside your head that says, what if I fail? Or, I'm not good enough. But here's the thing. Most of us don't even realize how much this voice controls our lives. So, Sophia, I want to get straight into it. What does self-doubt actually sound like in our minds? How can we recognize it?
Oh, Adam, self-doubt is one of the biggest barriers to confidence. And you're right, it's quiet, it's subtle, but it's powerful. It often doesn't sound like, You can't do this. It sounds more like, maybe now's not the right time. I'll start when I'm more prepared. Other people are better than me. What if I try, and I embarrass myself? Notice something. It's not screaming, "You're a failure." It's whispering doubts like it's trying to protect you. But what it's actually doing is holding you back from your potential. And here's the key. Everyone has self-doubt. Everyone. Even the most successful people, the people you see speaking perfectly on stage or leading teams at work. They have those same whispers in their minds. The difference is, they've learned not to listen to it.
That's so good, Sophia. Because I think a lot of people listening right now might think, oh, it's just me. I'm the only one who feels like this. But no, we all hear that voice. I remember when I started this podcast, I doubted myself every day. What if my English isn't good enough? What if people don't like my voice? What if I say something wrong? But what I didn't realize back then was, that's normal. It's part of being human. But Sophia, I think the scary part is, most people don't even realize that voice is controlling their life. Like, they don't even see it as self-doubt. They just say, oh, I'm waiting for the right time. But really, it's fear in disguise, right?
Absolutely. Self-doubt is a master of disguise. It doesn't come to you and say, I'm fear. I'm here to stop you. No, it dresses up as logic. It says, let's wait a little longer. You're not quite ready. Maybe next month will be better. And it feels reasonable. But the truth is, it's keeping you safe. It's keeping you in your comfort zone because your brain loves comfort. Your brain thinks, if I don't take action, I won't fail. I won't get embarrassed. I'll be safe. But Adam, you and I both know, comfort kills confidence. Every time you stay safe, your self-doubt gets louder. But every time you step forward, even when you're scared, that voice starts to get quieter.
That's so powerful. Comfort kills confidence. I think a lot of listeners need to hear that, because I know from my own life. Every time I avoided something because I was scared, whether it was speaking in English, trying a new job, or even meeting new people, I felt worse later, because I knew I was holding myself back. But every time I did something, even if it was small, I felt stronger. So, Sophia, let's get practical. How do we start beating this voice of self-doubt? Because let's be honest, it's not going to go away overnight, right?
Right. Let me give you 2 powerful steps that anyone can start using today. Step 1. Recognize it. You have to catch that voice in the moment. So, listeners, the next time you think, I'm not ready or I'm not good enough, pause. Ask yourself, is this my self-doubt speaking, or is it reality? Most of the time you'll realize it's just fear. It's just the comfort zone trying to hold you back. Step 2. Replace it with a better thought. Don't try to get rid of the thought. That's impossible. Instead, change the story. When you hear, I'm not good enough, say, I'm learning and I'm improving every day. When you think, what if I fail? Replace it with, if I fail, I'll learn. And I'll get better. When you feel like, other people are better than me, tell yourself, everyone is on their own journey. I'm making progress at my pace.
Oh, that's good. Catch it. Replace it. And I want everyone listening right now to actually try this. Pause for a second. Think about your life, your English, your job, your dreams. What's one negative thought you often tell yourself? Maybe it's, I'll never speak English fluently. Maybe it's, I'm not smart enough to get that job. What's that thought for you? Say it in your mind, hear it, and now, let's change it. Say out loud, right now, I'm learning and improving every day. Go ahead, say it.
Yes, it might feel silly, but this is how confidence starts. It starts in your mind. Because when you change your thoughts, you change your actions. And when you change your actions, you change your life.
Exactly. So, listeners, your challenge today, Catch your self-doubt, hear it, then replace it. Because every time you do that, you weaken that voice. And every time you do that, you get a little stronger.
That's right. And remember, you are not your thoughts. You are stronger than your self-doubt. And together, we're going to help you build the confidence you deserve.
Now that we've talked about self-doubt, the voice that holds us back, I know some of you might be wondering, okay, Adam, I get it. I need to push past fear. But how? How do I actually start building confidence? That's exactly what we're going to break down right now. Because, Sophia, I think a lot of people believe that confidence comes from one big achievement, like getting a promotion, becoming fluent in English, or giving a perfect presentation. But that's not really how it works, is it?
No, Adam, not at all. That's another confidence myth. A lot of people think, one day something big will happen, and I'll finally feel confident. But confidence doesn't work like that. Confidence is built through small wins, every single day. It's not one big leap, it's a series of small steps, daily actions, daily habits, and over time, those small steps create momentum, and that momentum becomes confidence.
I love that. Small steps and momentum. But, Sophia, can you give us some examples? Because I think sometimes people hear small wins, and they think it has to be something impressive. But what does a small win actually look like in daily life?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because listeners, small wins can be simple, so simple that you might not even notice them. Let me give you a few real-life examples. Speaking up once in a meeting, even if it's just to say, I agree. Asking a stranger for directions in English. Ordering coffee in English even if you're nervous. Trying a new hobby, even if you're bad at it. Sending an email you've been avoiding. Do you see the pattern? Small actions. Each one seems small, but every time you do it, your brain is learning. I can do this. I can handle this. And over time, those tiny steps create something powerful. That's how you build confidence.
That's so good, Sophia. Because I think we often wait for that big moment to feel confident. But what you're saying is, confidence is built quietly in those small daily actions. And I can tell you from personal experience, that's exactly how it worked for me. When I started this podcast, I didn't suddenly wake up feeling confident. But every episode I recorded, every time I spoke, even when I was nervous, I felt a little stronger afterward. Each episode was a small win. And now, I can sit here and talk to you without that same fear. It's all because of those small steps over time.
Exactly. And here's the best part. Small wins create momentum. Think of it like pushing a car. At the start, it's hard, it barely moves. But once it starts rolling, it gets easier and faster. Confidence is the same. The first step is hard. The second step is still hard. But the third? A little easier. And soon, you've built momentum. You're moving forward. Suddenly, you're doing things you never thought you could.
Oh, I love that momentum. Because I've felt that before. When you start taking action, you feel like, wait, maybe I can do this. Maybe I am capable. But I know some listeners right now might be thinking, but Adam, I don't have any wins. I haven't done anything. And to that, I want to say, yes, you have. You just haven't noticed them.
Oh, that's so true. We all have small wins, we just don't celebrate them. Think about it. Did you show up at work today even though you felt tired? That's a win. Did you speak a few words in English even if it wasn't perfect? That's a win. Did you send that email even though you were nervous? That's a win. Did you get out of bed and face the day when you felt like giving up? That's a win. Wins are everywhere. You just need to see them.
Yes, yes. So, listeners, let's do this together right now. Pause for a second. What's one small win you had this week? It can be anything. Did you try speaking English? Did you handle a tough situation? Did you do something you were scared to do? Think about it. Name it. Celebrate it.
Yes. And I know, it might feel silly. But here's what I want you to understand. When you celebrate your small wins, you train your brain to see progress. And when your brain sees progress, your confidence grows.
Absolutely. So, listeners, your challenge today is this. Notice your wins, celebrate them, because small actions done consistently create big confidence. That's how you win.
Yes, confidence is built in the little moments every single day, so let's start building those small wins together.
Now, if you've been with us so far, you know that confidence is built through action, through small wins, and by defeating self-doubt. But there's another piece that most people ignore, and honestly, I think it's one of the most powerful tools for building confidence. And that's how we talk to ourselves. Because, Sophia, let's be honest, the way we speak to ourselves can either lift us up or tear us down. So, let's get into it. How do we start changing that inner voice of doubt?
Oh, Adam, this is one of my favorite topics because I truly believe the conversations you have with yourself are the most important conversations of your life. And the sad truth is, most of us are our own worst enemy. Think about it. If your best friend made a mistake, would you say to them, "Wow, you're so stupid, you'll never get better"? No, you would say, "It's okay. You'll get it next time. You're learning." But when it's ourselves, we're brutal. We say things like, "I'm such an idiot. I'll never be good at this. Why do I even bother?" We speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to someone we care about.
Oh, Sophia, that hits hard. Because I've done that. I think we all have. Listeners, be honest. Have you ever made a small mistake, and your first thought was, "I'm so stupid"? I know I have. But what you just said is so powerful. We would never talk to our friends like that. So why do we talk to ourselves that way?
Because it's a habit. Negative self-talk becomes automatic. But the good news is, we can change it. And when you change the way you talk to yourself, you change the way you feel about yourself. That's why I teach people something called positive self-talk. It's like being your own coach, being your own encourager. Instead of, "I can't do this," you say, "This is hard, but I can handle it." Instead of, "I'm so bad at English," you say, "I'm improving every day." Instead of, "I'll never be confident," you say, "I'm a work in progress. I'm growing."
That's so good. Being your own encourager. And I want to pause here because I know some listeners might be thinking, "Okay, Adam, this sounds nice, but does it really work?" And I get it. I used to think the same thing. But let me tell you, it works. When I started this podcast, I used to get nervous before every episode, and my mind would say, "What if you mess up? What if people think you're not good enough?" But then, I started doing what you said, Sophia. Before every recording, I would say to myself, "You've got this. You know what you're doing. Even if you make a mistake, you'll handle it." And over time, that voice of doubt, it got quieter. And that voice of encouragement, it got stronger. It's like I trained my brain to believe in me.
Exactly. Your brain is like a muscle. It learns what you teach it. And every time you use positive self-talk, you're training your brain to trust you. And here's something fascinating. Your brain believes what you tell it, whether it's true or not. If you say, "I'm terrible at this," your brain will look for proof that you're terrible. If you say, "I'm improving," your brain will look for proof that you're getting better. Your words shape your reality. So, listeners, be careful what you say to yourself, because your brain is listening.
Wow, that's powerful. Your brain believes what you tell it. So, Sophia, let's get practical. What are some simple phrases our listeners can start using today? Phrases they can repeat to themselves when self-doubt shows up.
Absolutely. Listeners, write these down or say them with me. I can handle this. I am learning and improving every day. Mistakes help me grow. I am capable of more than I think. I'm a work in progress, and that's okay. These are called affirmations, positive statements that you repeat to yourself. At first, they might feel strange, but the more you say them, the more your brain starts to believe them.
Yes. And listeners, let's do this together right now. Wherever you are, take a deep breath and say this out loud with me. I am capable of more than I think. Go on, say it. I am capable of more than I think.
Yes. How does that feel? Maybe it feels a little weird, but maybe, just maybe, it feels a little bit good, right? Because that's the power of self-encouragement. It's you, becoming your own supporter, and the more you do it, the more confident you will feel.
Oh, I love this. So, listeners, here's your challenge. Every morning this week, say one positive statement to yourself. It could be, I can handle today, or I am getting better every day. Say it, feel it, believe it, because your words shape your confidence.
Absolutely. And remember, speak to yourself like a friend, because you deserve kindness, you deserve support, and you deserve confidence.
Now, I know we've been talking a lot about positive self-talk, small wins, and taking action. But let's be honest, sometimes, even when we know what we need to do, we're still scared, right? You want to speak up in a meeting, but your heart races. You want to practice English with a stranger, but your palms get sweaty. That fear, it's real. So, Sophia, let's get real for a moment. What if someone is just scared to take action? What do we do when fear is holding us back?
Oh, Adam, this is such an important question because everyone feels fear. Every single person. And let me say this directly to our listeners. If you are feeling scared right now about something, good. It means you're human. But here's the truth that changed my life. Confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is taking action despite fear. Let me say that again. Confidence is doing it scared. A lot of people think, I need to stop feeling afraid before I can be confident. But that's not true. Fear and growth always come together. If you're feeling fear, it means you're stepping into something new. It means you're growing.
That's so good. Fear and growth come together. And I can relate to that so much, Sophia. I remember the first time I had to give a presentation in English in front of native speakers. I was terrified. I kept thinking, what if I forget my words? What if they laugh at my accent? And part of me wanted to cancel it. I almost did, but I didn't. I was scared, but I did it anyway. And afterward, that's when I felt confident. Not because it was perfect, but because I faced it.
Yes, Adam. And that's what I want everyone listening to understand. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a green light. It's your brain saying, this is new, this is uncomfortable. But it's also saying, this is an opportunity to grow. The people you admire, the ones who look so confident, they feel fear too. The only difference is, they've trained themselves to lean into that fear.
Oh, I love that. Lean into the fear. But I know some people listening might be thinking, but what if I fail, Adam? What if I speak and I mess up? What if I try and it doesn't work? What would you say to someone who's afraid of failing?
Such a good question. And I would say this, failure is not the opposite of confidence. Failure is part of confidence. Every confident person you see, they didn't get there because they never failed. They got there because they failed, learned, and kept going. Confidence comes from knowing that even if you fall, you can get back up. That's real confidence. It's not, I will never fail. It's, even if I fail, I'll be okay.
Oh, that's so powerful. Listeners, I want you to hear that. Confidence is knowing you'll be okay, even if you fail. And here's something I realized. Every time you avoid something because you're scared, the fear gets stronger. But every time you face it, even if it's uncomfortable, you teach your brain, I can handle this. And that's when confidence grows.
Exactly. Confidence lives on the other side of discomfort. If you want to grow your confidence, you have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to embrace discomfort. That's why I always say, discomfort is your friend. If you're uncomfortable, it means you're growing. So don't run from fear, walk toward it.
Wow. So, listeners, let's pause for a second. What's one thing you've been avoiding because of fear? Maybe it's speaking English with someone new. Maybe it's applying for a job you want. Maybe it's asking for help. What is that thing for you? Picture it right now. And now, ask yourself, what would happen if you tried it? What if you did it scared?
That's it. And remember, you don't need to feel ready. You just need to start. Take the small step, because every step you take through fear makes you stronger.
Absolutely. So, listeners, here's your challenge today. Do one thing that scares you. It doesn't have to be big. It could be saying hello to someone in English. It could be asking a question in class. Whatever it is, do it scared. Do it uncomfortable. Because that's how you build confidence.
Yes. And when you do it, celebrate it. Because every time you face fear, you grow. And every time you grow, you become more confident.
Now, we've talked a lot about what confidence is, how to build it, and how to face fear. But sometimes, the most powerful lessons come from real people, real struggles, and real success stories. Because, Sophia, I think it's easy for someone listening to think, that all sounds great, but my situation is different. You don't know how hard it is for me. But what they might not know is that every confident person has struggled. Every confident person has failed. So, I want to ask you, can you share a personal story about your confidence journey? Maybe a time when you struggled or failed but came out stronger.
Oh, Adam, I have so many stories because I've failed a lot. But there's one story that completely changed my relationship with confidence. And I want to share it because I know someone listening right now might be feeling like I once felt: embarrassed, ashamed, and ready to give up. Years ago, early in my career, I was invited to give a presentation at a small business event. It was my first time speaking in front of professionals. I was nervous, but I thought, okay, I've prepared. I can do this. But the moment I stood in front of those people, my mind went blank, completely blank. I forgot my words. My voice started shaking. I could see people looking at me with confusion, and honestly, a little pity. I stumbled through the rest of the talk, but inside I felt like I was dying. When it was over, I went straight to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall, and cried. I thought, that's it. I'm not meant for this. I'm not good enough. I'll never speak in public again.
Oh, Sophia, I can feel that moment as you describe it. And I know many people listening have had that kind of experience. Maybe it was speaking English in front of others and making mistakes, or trying something new and feeling judged. That feeling of shame, like you're not good enough, it can crush you. So, what happened next? How did you get from that moment in the bathroom to being the confident speaker you are today?
Adam, I'm not going to lie, I wanted to quit. For weeks after that event, I avoided every opportunity to speak. Anytime someone said, Sophia, would you like to present this? I would say, oh no, I'm busy, or maybe next time. But the truth was, I was scared. I was letting that one failure define me. But then, something shifted. One day, a friend, someone I trusted, said to me, Sophia, you're not bad at speaking. You just had a bad day. Everyone has bad days. Don't let one bad day decide your future. And that hit me, because I realized I was treating my failure as the end. But it was just one step. One bad speech didn't mean I couldn't improve. So, I made a decision. I would try again. But this time I didn't aim for perfection. I aimed for progress. I said to myself, Sophia, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be better than last time. I started small. I spoke at team meetings. Then I volunteered to introduce speakers at events, just a 2-minute introduction. And little by little, step by step, I improved. I learned from my mistakes, trial and error, falling and getting back up. And guess what? Now, speaking in front of hundreds of people is something I love. But it all started with that failure.
Wow, that's so powerful. Failure was part of the journey. And listeners, I hope you hear what Sophia just said. Because maybe you've had a bad experience. Maybe you tried to speak English and you made mistakes and someone laughed. Or maybe you started something new and felt like you weren't good enough. But that moment, that's not the end. That's just part of your journey.
Exactly, Adam. I want every listener to understand this. Confidence is not built by being perfect. It's built by getting up every time you fall. So, if you failed before, good. You're in the process. You're learning.
Oh, I love that. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. So, listeners, think about this. Have you ever failed at something but later got better at it? Maybe learning English felt impossible at first, but now you understand more. Or maybe you tried something and struggled, but now you can see progress. What's your story? Pause for a moment. Think about it. Because that story, that's your proof. Proof that you are capable of getting better.
Yes, and that's the message I want to leave everyone with today. Failure is not final. It's feedback. Every mistake, every struggle, it's teaching you something. It's making you stronger.
Absolutely. So, listeners, your challenge today. Think of one time you failed, but didn't give up. What did you learn? How did you grow? Because when you see your progress, you'll realize you are already stronger than you think.
Yes. And remember, every confident person you see once felt just like you. The difference? They kept going.
Now, Sophia, we've covered a lot about building confidence from the inside out. But let's be honest. In 2025, there's something constantly attacking our confidence from the outside. It's right there in our hands, our phones, social media. And I know, for a lot of our listeners, including me, it can feel like every time we scroll, we start comparing our lives to others. So, let's get into it. How can we stay confident in this social media-driven world?
Oh, Adam, this is such an important topic because social media is not going away. It's part of our lives. But here's what people don't realize. Social media can either build your confidence or it can destroy it, and it all depends on how you use it. But first, let's talk about the problem. There's a phrase I want everyone to remember: the comparison trap. That's what happens when you scroll through Instagram, TikTok, or whatever platform you use. And you see someone with a perfect body, someone traveling the world, someone buying a new car, someone speaking perfect English, and you think, why isn't my life like that? What's wrong with me?
Oh yes, the comparison trap. Listeners, have you ever had this experience? You were having a normal day, you felt okay, but then you checked your phone, and suddenly you felt behind, you felt not good enough. I know I've felt that way, Sophia, because social media, it's like a highlight reel of other people's best moments, but we compare their best moments to our everyday life.
Exactly. We're comparing our behind-the-scenes life to someone else's highlight reel. And here's the truth that most people forget. What you see on social media is not real life. It's edited. It's filtered. It's carefully chosen. Nobody is posting their failures. Nobody is posting their moments of doubt. But guess what? They have those moments, just like you.
Oh, that's so good. They have those moments too. So, Sophia, if social media is part of life now, how do we protect our confidence? How do we stay strong while using it?
Great question. Here's what I tell everyone. You can't control social media, but you can control what you see. There's a term I want our listeners to learn. Curate your feed. That means choosing what you allow into your digital world. Ask yourself, when I scroll, do I feel inspired or do I feel stressed? If someone's posts make you feel bad about yourself, unfollow them. If you see content that makes you feel like you're not good enough, mute it. And instead, follow people who uplift you, follow people who inspire you, follow people who teach you, because your digital environment matters.
Oh, I love that. Curate your feed. Because I think sometimes we forget. We're in control. We can choose what we see. Listeners, take a moment right now. Think about your social media. Does it inspire you or does it stress you out? Who's one person you could unfollow right now to protect your confidence?
Yes. And there's another thing that's becoming more popular in 2025, digital detox. That means taking a break from social media. Sometimes, The best thing you can do for your confidence is to log off. Spend a day without scrolling, or turn off notifications, because real confidence comes from your real life, not from likes and comments.
Oh, digital detox. I've tried that before. And Sophia, every time I take a break from social media, I feel better. I feel less pressure, less noise, more peace. Because listeners, real life is happening right in front of you. Your growth is not measured in likes. Your confidence is not built on comments. Your value is not in your phone. It's in you.
Exactly. So let's make this practical for everyone listening. Step 1. Curate your feed. Step 2. Take a digital detox. One day, a few hours, whatever works for you. And most importantly, remind yourself, social media is not real life. Your progress is real. Your growth is real. You are enough.
So, listeners, here's your challenge. Take a look at your feed today. Does it inspire you or does it stress you out? And make one change. Unfollow one person who drains you. Follow one person who uplifts you. Take back control.
Yes, because your confidence deserves protection. Your mind is valuable. Guard it.
Wow, what a journey this has been. We've explored what real confidence is, how to take action even when you're scared, how to manage self-doubt, and how small daily wins can lead to big success. We've talked about the power of positive self-talk, facing your fears, and protecting your confidence in this digital, social media-driven world. And Sophia, I just want to say, thank you. Your insights have been so powerful. I know our listeners are leaving with real tools they can use, not just to speak English better, but to feel more confident in their whole life.
Thank you so much, Adam. And to everyone listening, I want you to remember one thing. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build every single day, through small steps, through positive self-talk, and by showing up, even when you're scared. You are capable of more than you think, and you deserve to feel confident, not someday, but today.
Yes. So, listeners, what's your first step? What's one thing you're going to do this week to build your confidence? We would love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, your wins, big or small, in the comments, because we are all in this together. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow our podcast so you never miss a new lesson. We're here every week to help you improve your English and build the confidence you need to succeed in your language, in your career, and in your life.
That's right. Keep growing, keep learning, and remember, you've got this.
Thank you for listening. Take action, speak confidently, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.